Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review. We're going to be looking at a new release into the Glenlivet Captain's Reserve. Now, this is a new expression from the Glenlivet, which is joining their core range. And whilst I've just poured this dram and letting it breathe in the glass, I'm going to tell you about why it's called the Captain's Reserve. So, it's joining their core range, and the name Captain's Reserve comes all the way back when we track back to World War I, to a gentleman known as William Smith Grant. Now, his actual name is just here on the side of the box, and he was actually referred to as Captain William Smith Grant. And he was actually found out he inherited the Glenlivet distillery whilst he was fighting World War I in France. So he looked after the distillery through the Depression, through when many distilleries in Scotland were closing, and today you have this whiskey distillery called the Glenlivet Distillery. Now, this is like a little bit of a tribute when you look back at it. And the reason they use over here, you'll see actually selectively finished in Cognac Casks, is because he was in France when he was actually fighting the war. So you've got that little correlation between Cognac Casks and the actual name Captain's Reserve. And I was actually lucky enough to meet the master distiller, Alan Winchester, here in London at the launch of this one. So you'll see probably a picture of me and him over there. And I was over the moon because the Glenlivet was one of the whiskey distilleries that I looked to when I was getting into sort of Speyside region whiskies. So anyway, enough of my story. Let's get back to this whiskey. It's a no-age statement. It's at 40%. It's finished off in Cognac Casks. The distillery itself is the Glenlivet Distillery. They're owned by the parent company, Pernod Ricard, and they're located in the Speyside region of Scotland. Now, the price point on that, I have seen it vary in the market. Some places I've seen £25, some places I have seen £45. And it seems to be averaging now at £45. Maybe a lot of people are going and buying it, so it's pretty much increasing the price. But I have also seen it on offer in some places for £30, £35. So it's got a really good price point at the 25 to 45. Is it exclusive? No. It's going to be a core expression which will join the Founders Reserve and the core age range in the domestic market. So it's not going to be a travel retail exclusive, but domestic market release. So that's enough of me rambling. I think let's just jump straight into the tasting notes, into what we can find on the nose. So first impressions on the aroma for the nose of this whiskey. I'm getting a nice plummy, juicy character, almost like a plum jam. I'm getting a little bit of spice, but it's ever so gentle. And it's sort of linking together with this appley character. It's almost like a spiced Royal Gala apple. There's even a little bit of this one on like red licorice, where I'm getting a little bit more of the sweetness coming through and a little gentle, bitter character. And then I'm getting this really interesting note. And this is because I've recently been hanging out in bakeries, but it's like freshly baked buttered scones with succulent, juicy raisins. It's actually not like you can smell it from a distance, but you can smell it right up in front of you. You can smell those juicy raisins. If you actually want to squeeze one of those, you get that aroma, that sweetness coming off from it, this juicy character. Wow, really? I don't know where the hell that came from, but that was really enjoyable. It does have a nice, also a little bit of that sweetness coming through, like a floral honey. A bit aromatic in its own sense. And there's one note which really links to something that I experienced in India, which was a drink called cashew feni. And it's where they use the cashew, sort of cashew nuts, the cashew plant, and you get this sort of like liquor over there in India. So it reminds me of that a little bit with a little nutty aroma. But that's about it for the actual palate, the nose of this whiskey. Let's jump straight into the palate. Slanger. I don't know where that came from, but arrival onto the palate, it's got a nice, rich mouthfeel. Kind of silky as it sort of coats all over the palate. And you'll greet straight off with a little bit of a crackle of white pepper heat. And then straight away as it's faded through, you get this nice plum juice now. It's like you've taken a sip of plum juice, and you can feel these characters and these flavors sinking all over your palate, onto your tongue, into your jawline. It's really, I can feel it a lot here in my jawline. And it's almost like you've taken also another sip of like a squash drink, but it's like without the water, you've got the apple and blackcurrant squash drink. And you just take a sip of this, and straight away you're greeted by those apples, that sort of blackcurrant. Oh, goodness, wow. That really takes me to like summertime characters, which you don't really see in a lot of whiskey, which are really quite refreshing. I'm going to have a second sip, see what other characters I can pick out, and then we'll start getting our way into the finish of this whiskey. So from the second sip now, I'm getting a little bit more sweetness. I want to say it's got like a nice blood orangey sort of juiciness from an orange, but at the same time I'm getting like wine gums, like the wine gum sweets, where you get that sweetness and you're getting these different flavors. I'm getting like a bit of lime, a bit of blackcurrant. Wow, this is really a different flavor profile altogether. Very interesting what the Cognac Casks has done with the Glenlivet character. Let's get into the finish and we'll come to my conclusions. So, into my finish. Actually, put the glass down before I break that. I don't want to break it. But overall opinions now on the finish with this whiskey. You're getting this nice, it's mouth-watering. It's almost like a plummy character. I have to describe it as plummy. I'm getting like almost like a chewy barley aspect in the jawline, where you want to sort of bite and you really want to use your jaws. And I'm getting licorice really coming through on this one. Maybe a little bit of even those fruit winders, where it's really like, it's really chewy. I really want to chew this whiskey. I want to go back for another dram, but I'll do that for another part of the video. Maybe I might do that in a live stream later on down the line. I'm going to share this with my London Whiskey Club because I want everyone to experience this unique character from the Glenlivet, which I've not seen in any of the other releases in the past. But in terms of value for money, let me give you my rating first. I'm going to give this one over here, I'm going to give it an 85 out of 100. Value for money, it's very decent. I think 45 might be just pushing it for me. Anything around about 40 and under, fantastic value for money. Doesn't need water, doesn't need time. Water personally destroys the texture. I experienced that in my first 2 drams of this. Added a few drops of water, it collapsed the texture. And the texture for this one's got a nice, rich, silky mouthfeel, which just completely goes with a few drops of water. So personally, I would avoid water. In terms of doesn't need time, give it that time. The first dram I tried from this bottle, wasn't a fan of it. But as I'm working my way through it now, it's developing and it's growing on me and I'm finding it much more easier and enjoyable. And something I just want to keep going back to. And it's one of those things I think is going to go rather quickly. So I'm going to save that for my London Whiskey Club meetup next week. Let me know if you guys have a chance to find this one down below in the comments section. And also, what's your opinions on the Glenlivet? What's your actual favourite Glenlivet expression? Let me know in the comment section below. But if you have enjoyed the video, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit my subscribe button if you're new to my channel. And I'm going to leave some other Glenlivet videos on screen so you can enjoy them. This has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, a quiet Mr. Bananas. We'll catch you for the next video. Slàinte.